Good evening, folks, and welcome back once again for another dose of racing action. My name is SUMO, and I shall be bringing you all of tonight's on-track action for the second round of ESRL Reverse Grid Sprint Season number 4. Two back-to-back 25% races this evening then at two great venues. We start in the sand dunes on the coast of the Netherlands for a race at Zandvoort. 4.646 kilometers see us around this track that hosts 14 corners and some of the harshest banking on a Formula 1 race track. Should be quite tough to make moves through here. It's quite a narrow circuit, but the drivers will no doubt put on a show for us here tonight. The results of this race will determine the grid for race number 2, if you are not aware, with the points awarded to the top 10 in the normal Formula 1 fashion. So 25, 18, 16, 14, 12, 10, I think. I did have a look at the points a minute ago. But let me just double check that. I should know this. I should know this all off by heart. There you go. 25, 18, 15, 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2 and 1 in your top 10 then, as far as points are concerned. So and then of course a point for the fastest lap of the race as well, if anyone can manage to set that. But that's going to be your grid tonight. Not too many drivers on the grid. I think we've got 13 in total. You may see some familiar names in there. You may see some usual commentary partner Ghost out on the circuit as well. Let's hope he can have a decent race. But we're going into the formation lap now then. If you're joining us, welcome, welcome, welcome. Do feel free to have a bit of a chat with us in the chat. I would very much appreciate it. Let's take a look at the strategies then. 5 drivers opting for the mediums, everybody else on the soft compounds of tyre. Truckster will start on pole position then. I believe the grid is set by championship order. So if somebody in the chat is a member of ESRL, please do let me know, because I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. But I'm just going to mute myself for just 1 second and I'll be back with you just very short. There we go then. Right, we're back and the drivers are lining up on the grid for the start of this 18-lap sprint race for the first of 2 races this evening. I've got my hot chocolate. The drivers are lining up, ready to go. I'm ready to go once again. 3 races in a row. This is going to be a killer. I'm just glad I'm not suffering with the cold I had a week or 2 ago. Just waiting then. Everybody to line up on the grid for this race. Truckster is the man on pole. Don't believe the timing board, which is telling you all wrong. 5 lights for the Netherlands Grand Prix here in ESRL's reverse sprint grid, and we're underway and racing. There's a great start from Scotty in the Williams. Going to draw alongside the AlphaTauri now, side by side. They go 2 by 2. Everybody nice and clean for the opening laps of this. Scotty still challenging through in towards turn 2, 3 and 4 now, but it's the inside line for Truckster, who's going to hold it off for the time being. But those softer compound tyres on the Williams, going to see him zoom through up in towards P number 1. There's 3 wide further back. Oh, Dieter Ayrton, oh, he's into the wall. I think he's lost his wing, but he's still in this. Lots of contact going on between this. This is a little bit messy, and the safety car is out. It's a virtual safety car just to neutralise this race for a little bit and just get the marshals out to clear up some debris. But that was a little bit scrappy then. I think let's look back just for a second. Let's just see who was involved in that. then I can point some fingers. Looks like an Alpine, a Mercedes, and a Haas. So that looks like Spaldwrong, DTS Ayrton, and DRL Lancer all involved in that particular incident. 3 wide between them. Free wide around this track doesn't typically work, folks. It's not recommended as it's so narrow around here, but we're still under VSC conditions, just waiting for the track to go green again. A few drivers opting to come in for stops. I think that'll be everybody involved in that ruckus. Yes, except for DRL Lancer. Does he have damage on that Mercedes? He does not, so lucky to get away with it, I suppose. But Ayrton and Short Marcus going through. I'll try and find a chance to run you through the championship standings when I'm not about to go back to racing. Driver standings. What is this? There we go. Oh, it's sort of a little box. Let's open these in browser for future reference, because we're back under green flag conditions then. And Truckster, it's a little bit of a gap forming there for him, caught napping perhaps by Scotty, who is up in the lead of this race for now. 1.1 seconds ahead he is, and he's now, Truckster is in the clutches of Reshka and Spaldwrong. I've had the pleasure of racing Reshka a few times in Formula 2 Championship over on APPF1. Had some great battles with him. But here's Spaldwrong now looking to the inside of the McLaren. The McLaren looking to the inside of the Alpha Tauri. Oh, contact made. I think he was just trying to scare him a little bit. And Spaldwrong really reaps the spoils of that one, because he just zooms around the outside into P2. Doesn't look back. Reshka and Truckster still one behind the other. Johnny Stokes dropping down the grid in the Alpha Aston Martin. Lots of drivers taking advantage. Jack Alacco doing well under Ferrari. He's been doing very well, I hear, on elite settings. Been very quick from what I have seen. He's got Ghost for company as well, just a few tenths behind him. So a bit of gap forming now though at the front. So we're watching these fights here. And it'll be interesting to see what sort of pace the soft runners will have when they turn over to the mediums, and vice versa as well. But Reshka is under some pressure now. He's got TF Martin. Oh, very close as Reshka just about closes the door, and Martin very smartly backs out of that. Ghost and Jack Alacco now getting a little bit dicey with one another. Ghost looks to the outside of turn number 13. Not going to work on that one. He's going to set Jack Alacco up, who's going to be vulnerable coming down this straight. One of 2 DRS zones. The DRS activates just before turn 15, and we'll go along. Jacko defends the inside, but not well enough. It's going to invite Ghost to the outside. He'll be a little bit compromised though. Through Tarzan they go, and still side by side. They'll have to be careful. They don't want to get the Aston Martin any places up in this. And look who's out. Jack Alacco. Oh no, what happened? It's a safety car. He's out. He's crashed. Oh, Jacko. Calamity for the Scotsman, and we've got a safety car on lap 4 of this race, and that'll be a bit of a spanner in the works for those drivers on the mediums, because I think soft runners may just think, we'll come in, put on a set of medium tyres, go to the end. So that's going to shake things up a little bit. And we've got a chance to go through the standings now too, so we'll do that. Let me get them both up. There's these drivers, here's the constructors. Wish I could put them in the stream, and then I could show you that way, but only streaming on a PlayStation, so not too advanced in that department, sadly. Let's have a look then. It's TF Martin who leads the way. 36 points. There's 2 P2s to his name. Mr. Consistent at the moment, it seems. Then there's Short Marcus, who is on 31 points in P2. Then you've got DRL Lancer just a point behind him. Then there's, who's that? Clemo? I think it's Clemo. I look like an I for a moment on there, but it's Clemo. 1993 on 24 points. Then there's Ghost P5, 17. Johnny Stokes P6. Then you've got DTS Ayrton in 7, spelled wrong, 8. JR Victor in 9th. Then you got Jackalako 10th, Reshka 11, RS 0121 in 12th. Then there's Scotty here in 13th, Scott 14, Aces versus Kings. Then there's Womax QB and Glowstick F1 rounding off the grid. Well, rounding off your drivers, your 19 drivers in this championship. And then we'll take a look at the constructors. It's Mercedes leading the way. They're on 54 points, just 3 points ahead of Red Bull. Then Alpine, 13 points behind the Mercedes outfit. And you've got Alpine in P... no, Alpine, I've said Alpine. And you've got Haas in P4, Ferrari 5, Williams 6, Alpha Tauri in 7, Aston Martin in P8, Alfa Romeo Racing in P9, and the McLaren Formula 1 team in plumb last in P10. Those three teams, no points on the board. Aston Martin, Alfa Romeo, McLaren. So Johnny Stokes hoping to kick off the championship for them. Alright, let me take myself back onto here and onto the stream. Nobody in the live chat, come and say hello. I very much appreciate it. But anyway, let's close some tabs. Let's go there. Not Jeddah yet, but it's currently Netherlands. So I'll get the Zandvoort track up. So I was doing all my prep in like maybe like 20 minutes or so in between finishing one stream and starting another. So I think the safety car should come in this lap, but as predicted, medium runners came in for... Well, soft runners came in for mediums. They'll go all the way to the end. Although Clemo on hards. I question the logic of that decision, honestly, Clemo. He'll come to regret that in a few moments' time, I think. Ghost on the softs, though. Ghost is going to try and take these soft tyres to the end. Now, if I know Ghost, I mean, it's on Elite, so I think he's still getting used to that. He's got a lot of pace to find. But this man right here is the APPF1 6-time sprint champion. He knows how to race a sprint race. He is patient. He is an absolutely fantastic race driver. I've had the pleasure of fighting with him many, many a time. I've also had the pleasure of commentating with him as well. He's a fantastic commentator in his own right too. Love watching the streams back for Tier 2, even though normally it's me and him, but it's now just him while I'm racing. But Ghost, he's got a plan. He knows what he's doing. He's going to be a threat in this restart, but Truckster is going to get us underway and racing again in a few moments time, waiting for that safety car to peel into the pit lane. He'll probably go as late as he possibly can. It's a long way through. No, he's gone. There he goes. We're back underway and racing, and Johnny Stokes, he's anticipated this one, but he can't overtake until the race line. There you go. And now we're back underway and racing, especially for overtakes, and Reshka's dropping down. TF Martin, there's a big brawl here. Oh, almost contact there between some of the drivers. Ghost is just behind all this chaos, trying to filter his way through. Around the outside, he looks to the Alpine. Can he get himself up a position? No, he can't. He's just going to have to settle behind, but he's not settling for long. He's trying to pull alongside. Don't go free wide again. But Ghost is going to sneak around the outside now. Through turn 8 they go. No, that's turn 7. Then there's 8. This is Master Bocht. Oh, I think it's just Master's Corner. I don't know Dutch. Rick, where are you? Correct me. But through they go. Ghost making up another position. Sneaks up the inside of Reshka with the superior grip. Meanwhile, Truckster's been hounded by Johnny Stokes, Short Marcus, and there's absolute carnage toward the front. Truckster's dropped all the way down to P4. And there's Johnny Stokes now leading this race for Aston Martin, as Scotty here is in P2. He's got a time penalty though. What's that? 5 seconds. Must have been something to do with speeding in the pit lane. Maybe even some sort of safety car infringement for Scotty. So not the best run for him for now. He's going to drop way down. Meanwhile, Ghost still brawling in the midfield. He's made up 2 places so far. Can he make up any more? He's setting Truckster up, who's been absolutely mugged on the opening lap of this restart. He's gone from 1st down to 6th, and it's going to continue. He didn't come in Neither did Johnny Stokes. These are him, Johnny Stokes, and Short Marcus are three drivers who started on those mediums. They're going to go on to softs a bit later and lose out. They'll be hoping for a second safety car in this race if they're to make up any sort of ground. I think a real race here is going to be between Scotty. Well, I think TF Martin is perfectly situated, but Ghost up another place, and he's making short work of these cars on the mediums. Ghost could be in contention for a podium at the very least. With the pace he's currently on, he'll be hoping a safety car doesn't come out and spoils the party, because he's flying out there on the soft compound tyre at the moment. We'll see what else he can do. It's a very impressive run for him for the time being, I will say so, but Spoud Wrong is following him. DRS now enabled, so here comes Spoud. Can he get a move done? Not quite. Not going to look to the inside on this occasion. The top 5 drivers all within a tenth of one another, or all within a second of one another, I should say. All very close together. Johnny Stokes controlling the pace very well. Very little ERS though to use, not as little as Mr. DRL Lancer here in the Mercedes. Ghost is having to use a little bit as well. I think he's having to fight off Spoud Wrong. I don't know how long these softs really last as far as tyre wear is concerned around here, but he's not catching as quick as he might like now. So I think Ghost might be out of this, although he'll go back up at least into P6, maybe onto P3, especially with that penalty to Scotty Marshall, but he's going to go up the inside with the DRS, gets the move done in towards turn number 11, and that's the Williams up into P1, but it's rather superficial because Johnny is provisionally in the lead of this race, and Scotty is probably... Ooh, let's see. He's currently the leader, so it's nice and easy for me to tell. He's currently P7 provisionally. As now, Short Marcus makes short work of Johnny Stokes, gets ahead of the Aston Martin, and he's now up into P number 3. Ghost closing that gap. These guys are fighting. They're jostling for position. Ghost, he's loving that. He's licking his lips. He's thinking, I'm going to be able to fight with these guys. As TF Martin gets very squirrely on the exit of turn number 4. Turn number 4, the banked left-hander nearly has a big moment. Manages to save it though on that occasion, but lots of action going on this racetrack, and we've still got about 9 laps to go, including this one. I suppose 8.5 if you really want to be specific. But here we go. DRS, Johnny Stokes, is he going to make any moves on the top 2? Not quite. He's got TF Martin for company as well. DRL Lance is here too. Ghost on those soft compound tyres, ever a threat. Do not count this man in the Haas out at all. Here we go then. DRS once again. Looks like DRL Lance is trying to set up a move. Can he get himself up any higher? He can't, but TF Martin reckons he can. Down the inside of turn number 1, through Tarzan he goes, and that's another position for TF Martin, championship leader in the Red Bull. And DRL Lancer leaves the door open, goes sniffing. He smells blood in the water as they go through, but it's going to be side by side now. Johnny Stokes losing lots of pace on those old mediums as he goes through. I think Ghost will snap him up soon as well. They're coming down towards turn number 9 now. No, that's 8. This is 9. And then 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yes. I think I'm correct. But a nice helicopter shot here. Following along with Johnny Stokes is Ghost. Going to go for the move. I'm not sure. He's going to... Let's see. Doesn't quite close much with the closing speed. But we got 6 cars fighting for the front of this race, for the lead of the race at the moment. Ghosts still yet to make any progress, but I think this might be the move here. Johnny Stokes has got very little left to fight with. There goes the ERS button for Ghost, gives him that little extra boost that he needs, and there's a little fight for the front going. Short Marcus has got rid of Scotty now, put him in his mirrors. Ghost gets rid of Johnny Stokes. There's an incident. Johnny Stokes is round at Tarzan. Oh no, did he lose it? Did he make contact with Ghost? I'm not sure. If he did, those stewards might look at that one. But Ghost up into P5 now, continuing his charge. That's is it going to be a net podium now? Not quite. It's P4 at the very least, with the penalty that Scotty has in the Williams. But there's still plenty of race left to go. And it looks like these soft tyres are holding up very well, and Ghost can make the most out of them, I'm sure. Lancer looks to the inside now of TF Martin. These two are racing for position. Short Marcus is lucky to have that Williams there, sort of acting as a bit of a blocker for them. But we've lost one car in this fight, with 5 cars now in this lead fight. Not much else going on around the grid. This is your battle. This is where the race is. And we've got DRS once again all the way through this banked corner, all the way on to the start-finish straight. You can see the flashing red light on DRL Lance's car and Short Marcus's car as well. The Williams looks to go around the outside. Scotty going to fight this despite his time penalty. Perhaps he thinks he can get it removed and continue to be a challenger out the front in this race. That'll be yet to be seen though, but for now he takes the lead, if not provisionally, of this Grand Prix. But Short Marcus is still technically your leader as far as everything on paper is concerned. And look at Ghost. Master of patience, master of sprint races. He's sitting there poised. He's ready. Any of these drivers make any sort of mistake, he's going to pounce on them the second they do. And speaking of mistakes, Short Marcus a little bit wide through 9. Then through 10 now. And TF Martin has the move done. DRL Lancer looks to try and make up a place on Short Marcus as well. These three fighting and fighting well as they go along. But TF Martin currently leading now. It takes the lead of this race. A little bit of contact, I think. This is Ghost's opportunity. The blood in the water is there. Can Ghost make up another place? He's got the ERS. He's definitely there, just looming. Lance has not really got much of a response, but he's got DRS. It's going to help him all the way down. But here he comes. Ghost in the Haas. A little bit of contact made between the two of them, but it's no harm done as they go through. The Mercedes goes to switchback though, draws out side by side, but the grip goes to Ghost. The better line goes to Ghost, and Ghost up into P4. He's now on the podium provisionally for the time being. Martin's ahead of Scotty here. He's going to try and leave them in his dust at the moment, and it's Scotty. I can't speak. It's Short Marcus. He's opened up that gap a little bit now, but it's going to be currently Martin, Scott, and Short Marcus and Ghost in line for the current podium. But look at this, DRL Lance is coming back at Ghost in the Haas. He's trying to make some moves up, but Ghost is having none of it. But the two of them still very close together. Ghost breaks that little bit more confidently, keeps the corner, and it's still P4 for him. Can he use those soft tyres for any more? Can he eke out any life? They must be starting to go off a little bit now, surely. The same can't be said for the likes of Short Marcus and those on the mediums, because they've got a lot of tyre life in them. This is still your fight at the moment. Scotty is still keeping with TF Martin. That keeps the others in contention for now, but Ghost is outside of a second. He needs to get back inside of DRS range if he's got any chance of holding off DRL Lancer and even improving his position on the podium. But I think he's going to be happy with a P3 on this, and he was very much poised to do so. This man knows how to get the best out of a sprint race, and he's done so at the moment. But we'll see. DRL Lancer hunting him down, having a little bit of a look perhaps. No DRS for Ghost. He's 1.5 seconds down. This is not looking good for him. He's going to have to get his elbows out, make that Haas car as wide as possible. Channel is in a Kevin Magnussen. He's in a Fernando Alonso, and put on the defensive performance of a lifetime in order to keep that position on the podium, as DRL Lancer will surely be nipping at his heels for it. There we go. Will Ghost fight this one. He sticks to the racing line. Lancer goes in. Does he go in deep? Look at that. That's a switchback for you, but Ghost doesn't quite have the room on the exit. Has to yield and is now back behind the Mercedes, but this fight is not over yet. Ghost and DRL Lancer, I think they're going to continue to fight for the rest of this race, but Lancer just pulling out that advantage now. I think the softs are starting to go off for Ghost. Not the best sign. Can he do anything to get himself back on the podium? Meanwhile, Scotty keeping up with TF Martin, has a lot of pace. He'll be kicking himself about that penalty and hoping that he's got any sort of grounds to to get it removed. Meanwhile, QB, a familiar face, in the chat, having a little bit of a fight with Johnny Stokes here. Well, I say a fight, it's more Johnny Stokes just zooming past QB, but he'll be happy to be racing with another car. It's always nice when you're toward the back and another car comes along to give you a little bit of excitement to boost up your performance, I suppose, or at least enjoyment of the race. But I guess Trugster and Johnny Stokes, they won't be too happy with their performance today. But here comes Scotty once again down the inside of TF Martin, who's going to go and cut under the Williams. Is that the switchback of dreams? It is. It's what Ghost tried and failed to do. Scotty shows us how to do it. DRL Lancer and Ghost, meanwhile, still fighting along. Ghost trying to find his way through. We're on the penultimate lap of this race now, and there's still plenty of action to be had. Look at these fights that we've got going on. Ghost is trying to save a little bit of ERS, I think. Lancer's used a lot more of his now. He's down in towards the single digits. Or single digit, I should say. That's 3% on the Mercedes, 17% on Ghost. So he's got the advantage in the ERS department. These three, meanwhile, still battling it out. And it's still a battle for the final place on the podium to be decided as well. Let's see what can Ghost do as he comes down towards turn number 11. I think it's just about setting up the move for the final lap. That's going to be his opportunity, I think. It'll be the final lap or now. I think now, look, he's poised to strike. Let's ride on board with the 6-time APPF1 Sprint champion as he goes through. Little touch on the grass of the Mercedes. Runs a little bit wider, does the Haas. But look at the closing speed on Ghost in the Haas car. Uses the ERS and the DRS to his effect as well, as it's all kicking off at the front, as it's almost 3 wide as they go. None of them have got any ERS left in the tank, and they're all fighting for the front of this race. I've got a feeling Scotty thinks he can get this penalty removed, but he's down now at the back, and it's going to be short. Marcus and TF Martin, they're going to be sprinting towards the finish. Ghost is going to be trying to hold off Lancer to the best of his ability. Lancer all over the back of the Haas car as well. It's so close between them. And meanwhile, Trugster and Johnny Stokes going side by side into the first corner, and it's Johnny Stokes and the Aston Martin making up their position on the AlphaTauri of Trugster, who's had an awful day in the office for this first race. Hopefully redemption can come. He'll be on the front row alongside QB for the next race. So we've got more action to come, folks. This isn't the end yet, but it's almost the end of this first race. TF Martin has got 2 more corners to navigate. There's a yellow flag. That's just the Red Bull of QB having a moment. 1 more corner now to go. This could be a sprint to the finish if Short Marcus gets a decent run. It doesn't look like he's going to get the opportunity. TF Martin comes across the line to win the first race to this evening, and Ghost does get that podium in P3, keeping ahead of DRL Lancer to fend him off. What a great race from the Haas driver. He'll be happy with that one. Pat on the back, Ghost. That's a masterclass in sprint races right there for the Haas. And here comes Johnny Stokes. He'll be gutted about the contact or the spin, the moment. We won't say too much about it. We don't know what happened, but there's Johnny Stokes and Trugster and QB. He's had a little bit of a moment. 5-second penalty, of an unserved penalty, 5 seconds for Trugster. That'll just be his 5-second penalty. But here comes QB. He's run out of fuel. Oh, QB's underfueled the car. I think that might still be a glitch around here, you know. Maybe he wasn't aware of it, but across the line he comes to round off your grid. What an exciting race 1, folks. TF Martin, driver of the day. I think I could agree with that one. Good little race. Well, actually, you know what? I think Ghost made the most out of that one. Yeah, driver of the day. Ghost for race 1. As it's on the recording there, so you've now got it. TF Martin, though, close second. But winning the race then. Continuing to extend his championship lead as he claims the trophy on the top step of the podium. Red Bull team are happy with that one, as the champagne is sprayed for the first time this evening. And Adrian Newey up on the podium. Hello to the 3 people currently watching. If you're new here, leave a like, subscribe as well, catch all the racing action. I don't just commentate, I race as well. I'm not the best at the moment because I've just transitioned to wheel, but come and join us for all of the action on the track. All the support goes a long way. But TF Martin, then, your winner for race 1, with short markers and Ghost flanking him on the podium. Ghost with the fastest lap of the race as well, getting himself an extra championship point. DRL Lancer, Scotty here round off your top 5 with Spaldwrong, Clemo, DTS Ayrton, Reshka and Johnny Stokes making up your top 10, with Truckster and QB rounding off your grid, with Jack Alacco unfortunately not finishing the race after a P4 start from him as well. Yeah, Ghost driver of the day for sure. P9 to the podium. A decent charge, but QB and Truxton are going to be your front runners for the next race, with Johnny Stokes, Reshka, Ayrton, Clemo, Spaldwrong, Scotty here, DRL Lancer, Ghost, short markers TF Martin, and Jack Alacco rounding off the grid. So expect that in there. I think we're going to take a few moments to just get the grid all sorted out and set up. So I will take a moment to just rest my voice for a moment. Okay, folks, we are back, and it is time for race 2, which takes place in Saudi Arabia for the Human Rights Grand Prix. 6.174 kilometers and 27 corners take us around a track where you must be focused at all times lest you meet the barriers, which are never far away. A reverse grid race here should be an explosive one, as drivers will need to be smart making moves through the grid, and if the first race is anything to go by, then we're going to have quite the barnstormer on our hands, I think. Now, this track has the highest average speed of any street track on the Formula 1 calendar, so it should yield for a fantastic race here in this 25% reverse grid sprint race, as the championship is named after and named for, I suppose. I wonder if they have the little Haas pit wall. I can't see it. I don't know if it's the little teeny weeny one. Have other teams done that too? I wonder. Oh gosh. Reset and ready to go. Some more racing action. Go see Damon, Graham, Phil, all the hills, world champions. You know, I watched the true or false thing that F1 did on their YouTube channel. I think it was uploaded today. I got that one right because of this game, because I hear those facts every single time I'm sat in my garage while I'm tweaking setups and having a little bit of a look around, or just idling. Yeah, but QB then is going to be a man on the front. Let's take a look at the strategy, and it's conclusive, folks. Softs for everybody but Clemo in the Mercedes. So he is going to go the long way and going to go on the reverse. I'm not sure, really. I think with 13 laps, they're all going to be coming in around a similar time, I think. Maybe Clemo just a lap later or so, but I'm not sure. He'll definitely have a lot more grip, so keep an eye on that Mercedes. We'll see what his progress is like. Let's get your lap data and your telemetry up as well. We're going to have all that up and ready for you. I wish it was more like shortcuts. Damn, I wish... You know, I don't think they ever accepted me for beta testing. Because I would go ham on the Codemasters if I had the chance. So, well, the next F1 game's not going to have... shouldn't have Breaking Point, or at least I don't think it does. I've not heard anything about the new next F1 game. It's almost time to start thinking about it, though, because you sort of get to January and you think, right, when the first half of the F1 game's lifespan's over, come June, July, it will be out. And they're trying to bring forward the release date of the F1 games, actually, because I think they want more of the season to go by as you progress through. So may see this F1 24 come in June. Will it be F1 2024? Who knows? So I'm gonna miss F1 23. I always like that as the name, rather than F1 23. But here we go. Then we're lining up on the grid for the start of the Human Rights Grand Prix for 13 laps of what should be an excellent sprint race. We're right on board with Johnny Stokes in the Aston Martin. It's going to be a short run to the line. The camera's not going to pan over to a front view of the grid, which is a shame. Hopefully that's something that gets fixed sooner rather than later. But here we go. 4, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights for the Human Rights Grand Prix for the race number 2, and we're underway and racing. It looks like a fairly tentative start from QB, but he's going to draw alongside Truckster. A little bit of contact, but he keeps the lead, does the Red Bull driver, and that invites Johnny Stokes through as his contact made more woe to Truckster's evening. But it's going to almost be 3 wide as they go through. Reshka and Ayrton going through. now as well. Ayrton forced off the track there, and I think back in front of the McLaren. That might be something he has to give back, perhaps not. It doesn't look like he's making any effort to do so, but Clemo causing a whole load of chaos on those medium tyres because everybody around him has got the grip. QB now drops out of the lead of the race. The Aston Martin of Johnny Stokes gets ahead. Can these two get past? It's going to be absolutely detrimental if they can't. But there goes Truxter straight through. He's now going to go chase down Johnny Stokes for the lead of this race after a poor start. There goes an Alpine. That's spelled wrong. Going all sorts of off the track as he goes through. That's not the track there. Meanwhile, Ghost, he's making his way through. Let's see. Let's get the position changes up. Ghost is up no places actually, but Short Marcus up 4 places off the start. A good start from the Alpine then. Although how many of those did he gain off track really as Ghost starts battling away? There's absolute chaos going on. I can't tell what's happening. There's about 4, 5 or 6 cars all within a width of each other. I think a hair's width of one another was the term I was looking for. But there goes Ghost looking to make it up. It's a P number 7. He gets up there. It's a drag race though with Short Marcus all the way to the first line. But I think some people have got contact, or maybe they're coming in. If they're coming in without contact, they're coming in super early. Alpine's double stacking. There's damage on both Alpines. Oh my word. Oh, and DRL Lance is retired from the session. He's had enough. Perhaps not an enjoyer of this track, but 5 places up is TF Martin. Ghost up 4, Jackalacco up 4 as well, hoping to have a little bit of redemption after his previous race in Netherlands where he retired very early on. Ooh, Max getting very close to the back of QBVI there. Oh, let's see. Let's get my old interval back. Let's get the tyres back. Hards? Spelled wrong. What are you doing? Why have you put the hards on? Mediums would have gone all the way to the end. Easily. Mistakes were made. But look at this. Johnny Stokes. Out in no man's land. He's 1.9 seconds up the road. Loving life right now. Meanwhile, Truxter under some pressure. Here comes DTS Ayrton. Around the outside. In towards the final corner. Gets the job done. Reshka ahead of Clemo now, who gets very close to the back of that McLaren. TF Martin has a little bit of a moment coming out. That's going to affect his momentum coming down the main straight now. Clemo on the back foot. Reshka trying to make a move on Truxter now. Side by side they go in towards turn number 1. And that's Truxter up a place. Is it? No. Yes, it is. There you go. Truxter down a place, actually. Clemo up into P4. They're all shuffling and jostling with one another. It's so close between all of these drivers. Ghost is getting involved now. Truxter dropping like a stone. 2 bad races in a row for Truxter. Being absolutely mugged as he goes through. Martin very wide through there. Ghost at the perfect line. He's going to capitalise now. Watching Ghost race is absolutely fantastic. Looks to the outside of the track now. Can he go the long way around? It's hard to do, especially when you're that far back. Ghost doesn't quite manage it, but he's going to stick with TF Martin, putting the pressure on the Red Bull. Couldn't this be another fantastic race for the British racing driver in the Haas car? As I think Truxter goes off the circuit, little Vorey off the track, outside of the track limits there. Ghost with the DRS though on TF Martin, who doesn't have it. So this is going to be advantage Ghost, as the Red Bull looks a bit like a sitting duck at the moment. Meanwhile, Reshka, is he going to go and pounce on the Haas of Ayrton? The Haas car's getting real stuck into this race. There goes Reshka, looks to the outside. Is he going to get the job done? Not quite. They're still going to be side by side as they emerge out of turn number 27. As on this racetrack, it's going to be 3 wide perhaps. Surely not. As they go through, the Mercedes follows through too. There we go. And it's now Reshka in the lead, with Clemo just behind. And DTS Ayrton loses a place off the podium, goes to Haas. Has anything changed here? No. Ghost still in P number 6, just behind TF Martin, who's closing in on this fight now. We're going to have about a 5-6 car battle for the remaining places on the podium, because Johnny Stokes, he's 5 seconds ahead of anybody else. Doesn't have to worry about any cars, so he can focus on being as consistent as he possibly can out in the lead. Here comes Clemo now, looking for a move. He's got ahead of Ayrton. Can he get ahead of the McLaren? Maybe the mediums. Not such a bad choice on this track. He may even be the car to watch when he goes onto the softs. After his pit stop, you have to make a pit stop during this 25 race. You have to make a mandatory stop. So it has to add on to a different tyre compound as well. Here comes TF Martin though. He's dropped Ghost a little bit now. He's going to pull alongside the other Haas of DTS Ayrton. It's going to open up the DRS. Bit of VRS to help him along. Thank you very much, he says. It's Clemo down the inside of turn number 21. That's a brave move. Let's look like it was all out of shape as well. Can there be team orders at Haas perhaps? It looks like it's not going to be. Lots of cars so close together, almost free wide again. TF Martin down the inside of the Mercedes, and the McLaren is dropping back a little bit now into the clutches of the two Haas cars. And there's Clemo leading them along. TF Martin is going to be almost free wide. There's so many cars going away. Free wide into turn number 1 as the McLaren looks on. It's contact! Oh my word! Ghost the big benefactor of that. He's got away and he's going to be chasing after TF Martin now. A contact between, I think that was Clemo and Reshka. That's ruined Clemo's chances now toward the front as they went 3 wide into 1. 3 into 1, folks. Doesn't work all that often. And when it does, it's an absolute spectacle. And when it doesn't, it's calamity for all involved. Fantastic stuff then. Ghost on the charge. Looking ahead. Looking at TF Martin. Thinking, where can I get past this Red Bull? How am I going to get myself into P2? Is Johnny Stokes too far away? I think I know the answer to that one. He's almost 6 seconds up the road. This is a lovely shot, isn't it? I love a night race. So what you want about this track, but its best drawing factor is that it's at night time, and these Formula 1 cars look awesome at night time. God, I love night races. Shame about all the human rights stuff, though. You know, you could probably say the same about Qatar, actually. But we won't get too much into that. But anyway, Ghost looks poised to make up a place. Here he comes. He's going to close in on TF Martin. Puts his Red Bull in the middle of the track. Tries to defend it as best as he can. Then to go aggressive around the outside, and that's a great bit of defensive driving from TF Martin, who is now your leader as Johnny Stokes has come into pit, as well as DTS Ayrton and Womack. That was impressive. Wow, what a smart bit of racing from TF Martin there, the German driver, just going all the way around the outside of go, sticks it on the racing line and says, I'll go into this corner as fast as I can, compromise myself a little bit. That's a little bit of an off though. At the what corner is that? I wish I knew. I've got the track map open here actually. That's turn 10. Very easy to do at turn 10 and 11. But Ghost doesn't quite capitalise, but he's going to just stick with him, stay close, put the pressure on, because mistakes matter around here. If you can pile on the pressure, be more consistent than your rival, you can make up places by pure intimidation alone. And that's what Ghost is going to do. Ghost is a calm, cool, collected driver behind the wheel. He knows how to win races, especially in sprints. He knows what he's doing. He's going to be fighting Martin to the bitter end, and I think Martin, with that defensive move he pulled off just on the last lap, he's going to be making this as hard for Ghost as possible. Meanwhile, Scotty, around the outside of Reshka, he goes in towards turn 27, and that's going to be a position for the Williams. But for how long is the McLaren going to come back at him? Martin and Ghost pulling in the pits at the same time. Then Scotty and Reshka as well. Could argue that Scotty crossed the pit line. Woo-hoo-hoo! Just about keeping it out of the wall with Scotty. That would have been a bit of a brown in your pants moment there, as Truckster takes the lead of the race once again, opted to go a little bit longer than his rivals. But Clemo putting on the soft tyres now, as we anticipated, held up in the pits a little bit actually by the McLaren, I think, that went past. But back out we go again. Ghost and Martin very close together once more. Johnny Stokes now in a decent position actually. Where did he come from? He wasn't here before. He's got the undercut, everybody's. Oh no, he's the leader. Never mind. He's been leading, but still a distance up the road. Although only not by too much, perhaps. Let's see, gap to leader. It won't help me. I'll find out when the leader does go back to Johnny. Just how much time he got. Who's that? There's a red ball. It's QB. It's QB. He's gone round over the red flag. Not red flag. Yellow flag. In that sector. But Ghost and Martin still duking it out. Still close to one another. This is your fight for P2 in this race. The double podium for Ghost will not be anything to scoff at. Meanwhile, DTS Ayrton under a little bit of pressure. He's got a lot of cars around him, and Scotty has just made up a place on the McLaren, who now leads this train of cars. There's about 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All within touching distance of each other. This could be an explosive fight to keep our eyes on as this race progresses. There's Truckster into the pit lane now. Now we can start looking at gaps to leader. Let's see if he gained or lost any time. Gap to leader. It's about the same, really. Lost a little bit, but not too much as far as that goes. But there's DTS Ayrton and Reshka going side by side now through turns 1 and 2. Does the Haas get the better exit? He's got very little ERS to use in his defence. And there goes the McLaren, sweeps around the outside. And I think Ayrton had no choice but to back out on that occasion. Never ends well at that corner. And it's like Martin's caught up to short Marcus, who's on some old tyres. He'll look to go to the end, I think, in the Alpine, but it won't go too well for him. He's going to get absolutely mugged. Speaking of, Clemo gets past Jackalacco, who's not had a bit of a quiet race too. Kept it out of trouble though, but he's in this fight amongst the likes of Scotty, Reshka, DTS Ayrton, Clayton and Womax. There's a lot of them go. There's Martin. He's ahead of short Marcus. He's trying to put as much distance as he can between himself and Ghost to try and make his life a little bit easier. There's Clemo. Gets past DTS Ayrton in the DRS. He's got those soft tyres, so it's about recovery now from the Mercedes. How many places can he gain on his rival? There they go, down towards turn 27. This could all kick off a little bit. Reshka leading them along. Clemo looking to get ahead of the McLaren. He's got to focus on his exit though through this corner. TF Martin 28.8 for the fastest lap of the race so far, as we are on lap number 9. Just started it, in fact. But here they go. Clemo down the inside. It's side by side behind them as well between Ayrton and Jackalacco. It's a place for Clemo in the Mercedes. Is it a place for Jackalacco in the Scarlet Red Ferrari? It is. Up into P8 he goes. He'll be chasing after the likes of Reshko. Oh, Clemo! He's turned in too early and he's hit the wall. That's surely got to be a safety car. No way. No way that's not. Michael Masses. Oh, mate, sort it out. F1. My word. Now that's a red flag in real life. I'm not going to lie. Blatant, especially at this track. But here comes Ghost. Opens up the DRS on his rear wing. Straight past short Marcus. But he mostly had that move done before the DRS zone anyway. Lost a little bit of time to TF Martin, but he'll be trying to gain that back as quickly as he possibly can. But Clemo, oh, it's so easily done, isn't it? You just turn in that little bit too early or a little bit too eager, and that's it. It's better to go wide at that corner than it is to turn in early, and Clemo has felt the harsh sting of the Jeddah Corniche circuit. As Jacko looks to the inside, he thinks, I'll go for it in towards turn number 1. That's the smart play. This guy is smart. In the Ferrari. Here he comes. Look at the approaching speed he's got down the inside. He goes on the McLaren. Is it job done on Reshka? It is, but Reshka's going to try what Martin did. Be aggressive. Take the inside for the second part of the corner. He could carry so much more speed in. They're still side by side as they go. Surely not through turn number 4. This is brave stuff. Oh, they're both off now. And here comes Ayrton. They're free wide through sector number 1. Surely this isn't going to work out. Spelled wrong with tyres from the session in the pit lane. Jackalacco loses out 2 places after trying to go wheel to wheel with Reshka. What a great moment of racing. They're still battling hard, these three. Ayrton He'll be laughing at that one. He's up a couple of places. This is the closest fight on the track, so we'll keep our eyes peeled on that. I'm keeping one eye on Ghost's gap to Martin up ahead. It's lingering around 1.4, 1.3, so no real interval there. But look at the gap. Look. Johnny Stokes must have had a mistake at some point, because there's 1.4 between himself and Martin. All Martin and Ghost are just that much quicker than Johnny. Could have a grandstand finish here, but these three still inseparable. Here comes the McLaren. The Ferrari's going to follow him through as well. Both trying to go around the outside of DTS Ayrton in the Haas car. The McLaren's going to draw alongside as they go down toward the first corner, and here comes the Ferrari as well. It might be free wide again between these three. Jacko now switches inside line for the Ferrari, gets himself up a place perhaps, but Reshka going to go aggressive again, and it's going to be a repeat of last time, although Reshka's got a little bit more ground than the Ferrari, and I think Jacko's backed out of that one after the last time they went side by side. That must have been a bit scary for them on the previous go, but it's Reshka, Jacko and DTS Ayrton now as they go through very close together. Meanwhile, TF Martin gap is 0.6 of a second. He's coming after the win of this race here at the Human Rights Grand Prix after Johnny Stokes. He's putting on the pressure. We're going to have a grandstand finish here, folks. This could even be done right about now. He's going to close in. He's not using the DRS. Look, he's left that unchecked. He's not going to do it. He's smart. Is TF Martin. He's going to perhaps launch an attack here. Or maybe, no, he's not going to launch it here. Look, see, this is better than playing DRS chicken, isn't it? Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton making contact, and other drivers as well. I think Leclerc and Verstappen did it the year before, last year as well. But just don't use it. And then use it smartly. Look, here you go. TF Martin, bam, storms through. Easy overtake on Johnny Stokes into the lead of the race. And look who's crept in. Ghost. I think he knew what Martin was doing, not using the DRS. Maybe he's got an ear on the stream as well, but Ghost has snuck in. A smart racing driver he is. Jakalaka and Reshka, meanwhile, side by side once again. Reshka really putting on a defensive show. Jakalaka, though, with a switchback, looks to the outside. This could be a position for the Ferrari. Side by side again. No, Reshka, more confident, goes through, but Jacko looks again to go underneath the McLaren. No way through. It's so hard to get a move done through this twisty section of the circuit, and the Ferrari just has to sit behind. These two have had an incredible little ding-dong battle, haven't they? And DTS Ayrton has just been sat in there waiting for something to happen between the two of them. Meanwhile, Johnny Stokes staying close enough to TF Martin. Ghost want to get involved as well. The three of them are going to make this a three-car fight with 1.5 laps left to go. Johnny Stokes, he'll have to be clever about this. He'll have to use his ERS and DRS to perfect advantage. Clemo's finally left the session after his retirement. He'll be hanging his head in a little bit of shame after that one, I think, and re-evaluating his approach to turn number 4 at this circuit. Meanwhile, Jakalako makes a move up before turn number 21 into P number 6 now, but it's not over. Reshka's going to come back at him towards 27, maybe even toward the first corner. Meanwhile, TF Martin, Johnny Stokes and Ghost start the last lap of the race. Martin in the lead. Johnny Stokes trying to make up a move. Can't quite go around the outside. Reshka ahead of Jakalako. Jakalako's going to come back at him with the DRS. There's two battles that we're watching here between 3 different cars on the track and 5 different constructors as well as they are going along. Here comes the Ferrari though, down the inside. Reshka, he knows what to do around here. He's trying it again. Look, they're going side by side. This is rinse and repeat, copy and paste between the two. Is Jakalaka going to yield this one? He is going to back out of that move. Ghost, meanwhile, still close behind. He's hunting down that P2 from the Aston Martin. He wants to go for it, maybe even try and challenge Martin if he's lucky enough. This is going to be so close between these three, and even closer between the 3 for P6. What fantastic battles we've got going on here in ESRL. This is absolutely phenomenal stuff for this second round of the race. Jacko's so close to the back of the McLaren now. The gaps are a little bit bigger here between the top 3. They're all trying to make the gaps as big as possible. Who is going to have the advantage as we go through into the final parts of the circuit now? Just one more proper corner to navigate for these drivers. Can they go through? Let's see. TF Martin looks like he might hold it on. Johnny is closing. It's all going to be about the exit of this final corner. Don't mess it up now. TF Martin, and he comes out of the final corner. I think this is done and dusted. You can see as he comes down towards the line to win the second race as well. Ghost on the podium too. Meanwhile, Jakalako and Rechka still fighting along as well. Who's going to come out on top? This is going to be a much closer finish between these three. It's going to be a drag race all the way to the end of the line. Who's going to get it? It's Jakalaka, Rechka and DTS Ayrton. It looks like the Scotsman is going to come out on top of the Ferrari. Wonderful stuff. What a great couple of races that was. So exciting. And here's QB. One more lap for him. Come on, QB. Never finishes high, but always finishes the race. There's something to be said about it. No points for QB, sadly, on this occasion. Or I think on the last, actually. Sadly for QB, but... Whoa, he's clipped the curb a little too much there. Just about kept it. 20 major dramas there. Easily done through there. And I'm in a bit of a scary moment for QB as he just corrects the car. There he goes. Just kept it out of the wall. One more proper corner, QB. Yeah, some of these corners can really be taken out in this track, can't they? Like, I mean, 25, yeah, that's probably a corner. 26, that's not a corner. 21, not a corner. It's 19 really a corner. 19, 20, 21, they're not corners, are they? They're just kinks in a straight. QB does get 10th apparently, so he gets a point for himself as TF Martin, driver of the day. And I think I've got to give it to him on that one. Last to first for TF Martin. What a great show from the Red Bull driver. Absolutely dominant today and deserves the top step off the podium. Ghost gets P2. How did he get that? Was there a penalty? There must have been a penalty. I'll see in a minute actually. But, Ghost will be happy with that one though. Double podium, a P2 and a P3. Nothing to scoff at at all. That'd be a tidy little haul of points for the British racing driver in the McLaren colours of white, black and red. Yes, a 5-second penalty for Sean Marcus. I wonder what you got that for then. But TF Martin, your winner this evening of race 1 and of race 2 as well. And he'll come home with maximum points with the fastest lap of the race, a 28.872. Then there's Ghost and Sean Marcus flanking him on the podium with Scotty P4 and Jakalako P5 after a fantastic battle with Rechka and DTS Ayrton 7 and 6. Then there's Womax in 8, Truxton 9th. QB rounds off your top 10. As Johnny Stokes is P11, with Spaldwrong, Clemo and DRL Lancer not finishing the race. Well then, an absolutely fantastic evening of racing. We started off with APPF1 Tier 1 at Portugal, and then we came over here for ESRL for a race at the Netherlands and a race around the Jeddah Corniche circuit in Saudi Arabia, a human rights Grand Prix, it must be said. And it was a fantastic evening of racing, and I've certainly put in quite the shift. But if you're watching right now, if you've made it all the way to the end, please do make sure you've subscribed and liked the stream as well. All of the support does go a very long way, and I appreciate it very, very much. And I appreciate all of you coming in to watch as well. But that's going to do me then for this evening. I'm going to go rest my voice. Looks like I've been invited for some Rocket League, so I'm going to go play that with Jakalako and the like. But thank you all for tuning in so very much. Join me tomorrow where I'll be, I think around 7 o'clock-ish for another stream with, I think it'll be my first time. Let me just get the league up for you. Because I'll be following all the ESRL boys over at the Evolution Online Racing League. for their Division 2. So look out for that tomorrow around 7:30. But in the meantime, thank you all so much for watching and supporting myself and ESRL and APPF1. I have been Sumo, and I wish you all a very warm good night.